Hi guys, I thought I would do a very quick video for you today because I've just experienced a little bit of a blast from the past, which is I've added some Majorette cars to the diecast collection. It's probably the first time in over a decade that I've added any from this manufacturer. And I just thought it would be good to see how they compare with the Majorettes of old, of which I've got plenty in the collection, just to see how the quality and the detail compares these days. Just to inform any other collectors out there who might be tempted to add them into their own. I'm going to be comparing it to this, which is an Oldsmobile back from the early 80s, just as a bit of a reminder of what these used to be like. Good in terms of glass, interior, decent colours, all that sort of good thing. Really like the way that the opening panels on these cars always had very good shot lines, which made them very good from a sort of junior model point of view. Fantastic suspension, and of course they used to have metal bases, which seems to be something very much in the past. Comparing it to this Bentley from Siku, which is about 5 times the price of a modern Majorette, even they have gone to plastic bases now. But I do find that quite a few of the details that you find on some of these more expensive toys like Siku and Tomica are now starting to become apparent in Majorette as well. So let's take a look and see what we can see. The first one that I'd like to show you is this Ford F-150 truck, which I think is pretty fantastic. It's got a really vibrant paint scheme, which is kind of reminiscent of some of the early Hot Wheels cars. And I think as I rotate the car, you'll agree that the detail's pretty good, considering this is just a cheap toy, which is the same sort of price as a Matchbox or a Hot Wheels. This one has the opening panels, and when you close them again, the shots are pretty good. It's got it's got decals going right the way around the vehicle. The suspension's very good, but of course that metal base has now disappeared away. Here's a couple of photos of close-ups so that you can appreciate that detail. Here's another one for you. It's a Nissan GTR. This is the R35 model that's been with us for some years now. A really amazing car, and again the opening doors, which close very well, and some fantastic alloy wheels, good suspension, all that sort of good stuff. I think means this is yet another really good addition to the collection. Just want to show you some of these photos to show you the fidelity of the interior, the glass lights, and just some of the quality really around some of the decals, which seem to be quite fine on this model, with regards to the Nissan badge in the GTR, right the way to a GTR badge just tucked inside that grille there. Got another one here to show you. This one is the Lamborghini Aventador. Particularly nice model from the basic range that they offer. One of the things that I really appreciate about this one is that sometimes you will get a very, very good casting of a car, which then sort of falls apart a little bit when they put oversized wheels on them, or the chassis is somehow not integrating with the casting quite so well, which leads to the car looking a little bit spindly on its wheels. Really nice to see that this one doesn't do that. And it does tend to be a problem when you are trying to model sleek cars in particular. This one doesn't suffer from that. And here are a few photos showing a few close-ups, just so you can appreciate some of the detail on this model. You'll have noticed that the cars that I've bought are all in multi-packs. Something that I often notice from multi-packs coming from other die-cast manufacturers is that sometimes there are a couple of real stars in a pack of, I don't know, 5 or 6, with the rest of them being a little bit watered down by sort of more generic models, perhaps not licensed models, fantasy models, things not based on real cars, which is very much a discussion point amongst collectors who really do prefer the real world cars to be modelled. Majorette, each one of these multi-packs that I've bought, of which I've bought 4, they're all real cars amongst all of them, so that's really encouraging to see. Something else that I'm really keen on is that these cars are really representative of the best of the world, really. I do tend to find that some manufacturers can be biased to their home nations, probably because they sell best in those markets. So Siku are primarily producing German cars, Tomica produce primarily Japanese cars. I know that Hot Wheels and Matchbox tend to be a little bit better in this department, but even there they seem to be a little bit biased towards US products. The really nice thing about Majorette is it's a French company, and yet amongst all these multi-packs there isn't a single French car amongst them, though they do Renaults, Peugeots, that sort of thing. The cars that you're looking at here are from all sorts of countries. So we've got Porsches, Opels, VWs and Mercedes from Germany. We've got Nissans from Japan, Dodges, Chevrolet and Fords from the USA, Italian Lamborghinis and Fiats, and British McLarens, Jaguars and Range Rovers. So I would like to think that one of the reasons why the availability and the enthusiasm around Majorette seems to be returning a lot over the past couple of years is because it is a genuine global brand with global appeal. Just want to talk to you now about things that I don't like, or areas for improvement, just whilst I show you the Dodge Viper, another one of my favourites in the background, with another great balance of interior, exterior detail, and really great door mirrors on these Majorette cars as well. Just wanted to show you that one before leading into things that I'm perhaps a little less keen on. So here's the suspension at play, but let me show you this. It's a Vauxhall Opel Adam, and if I try to push on this one, you think, well, the suspension hasn't been fitted to this particular model. But if you take a look underneath, you'll then see that there are a couple of little slots in there, and there are bars running through those, which denotes that this is indeed fitted with suspension. But the weird thing is, they have ever so slightly put on the model oversized wheels, which foul the wheel arches ever so slightly, and it means that these wheels foul the wheel arches when you run the car, and of course there isn't any room for that suspension to work. It's exactly the same on this Volkswagen van as well. Again, you think it's not fitted with it, but there we go. You can see the suspension fitted underneath. Another thing, I know we've talked about it a few times now, but these shot gaps around the panels can be a little bit hit and miss. The Jaguar F-Type is one of the main reasons why I went looking for Majorettes, but I think in the lighter colour you can see that this one is perhaps a little bit more gappy than others. Perhaps an area for improvement. The final thing that I'd like to leave you with can be illustrated by these models. This is a Range Rover Evoque, the orange one from Majorette, the black one from Matchbox. Both very, very attractive models to add into the collection, but one of the things that surprises me is that within a few pence, within a few cents, these things cost exactly the same price. And yet, when you take a look at the Matchbox Range Rover Evoque, which I kind of like probably the best in terms of the overall look of the car and the wheels that it's fitted with, but it weighs about 2/3 as much as the Majorette. Add into the mix that Majorette also has these additions that the Matchbox doesn't have, like the suspension, like the opening tailgate, and you start to think to yourself, maybe the cost cutting at Mattel on the Matchbox and the Hot Wheels brands, so that in their home market they can be kept to below the dollar price, is perhaps something that's gone a little too far now. Naturally, a dollar is always going to be worth less and less. That's just the world of inflation. I think, well, I really hope that it's the time to turn the corner on that now, and stop taking the quality of materials away from these toys, for fear of going a little bit too far and turning them into sort of generic supermarket own brand type quality toys. And I do think that when you see that Majorette can achieve this sort of standard for exactly the same price, you do think to yourself that this company could really be hot on the heels of the Matchboxes and the Hot Wheels leaders. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this quick overview of some of the latest products from Majorette. And if you are interested in adding some of those to your diecast collections, or you want to chat about them, then do let me know. In the meantime, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope to return again soon. Thanks.